Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing some recent finds, and every single record has something very special or very unique about it. I also got some huge gifts from a viewer. His name is Brian and he's from Tennessee, and I cannot wait to show you those. There's a couple records in here that are huge grails for me, so I can't wait to show you those. Also, I picked up a few other things that are music related that are very cool. So let me just go ahead and get started. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. Subscribing to a channel doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free, but it helps me out a lot. It's just a huge support and I would really appreciate it. So let me go ahead and get started. This is something music related. If you're a Beatles fan, you'll love it. I was in a store where we live. There's an antique store slash flea market slash there's one section that has some vinyl, and a guy brings in records. They're $2.50 each, or some of the 45s are $1 each, and I just love digging through them. And I will find some things. I've never found what I would call a huge grail, but I've found some things that I wanted for my collection. So anyway, I went in there the other day and I found something really special. Let me just show this one really quick. I think I've shown this one on my channel before. These are those Beatles plates that came from the Bradford Exchange back in 1992. I already showed this one on my channel, but I absolutely love it. Well, I've always wanted to find more, and I found some that were really big discounts. They were really inexpensive, so I could not resist picking up a couple more. And you all probably know this one as the US copy of the album Yesterday and Today. When I see this picture, I automatically think of the paste over for the Beatles Butcher cover. I own a couple of those second state Beatles Butcher albums, and so when I see this particular picture, I think it's really cool. And here's the back. So I was really happy to pick this up. It was very inexpensive. They had 50% off of it, and I got a really great deal. This one is my favorite of the three that I own, and I absolutely love this one, Rubber Soul. I think that's absolutely a stunning picture. Here's the back, and there's limited edition numbers. They're each numbered, but they probably made a gazillion of them, so they're obviously not very rare. But hopefully in the future, I'm wanting to do something upstairs with my music room, and I would love to have those on display. So for the price, I couldn't resist picking them up. And now I'm going to show some records that I picked up. Here is the sack. It's Guest Room Records in Louisville, Kentucky. I was in Louisville this past weekend helping our daughter move. She's moving to another city. She's going to be starting medical school. So what a weekend. It was absolutely insane. What could go wrong did go wrong. Murphy's Law really did apply to my family this past weekend. But we're still working on it, and hopefully it's all going to work out really good, and I know it will. But I found a really cool record at Guest Room Records. This is Black Sabbath. This is the debut album, and this is a 2015 version on Sanctuary Records. I had a hard time finding a lot of information about it. I just know I saw it, and I saw the Vertigo label, so I put in the barcode on Discogs, and it did show that the record was going to have that Vertigo black and white swirl label that I really love, and so I went ahead and bought it. I would love to have the early press for when this came out of the Vertigo swirl, but in the meantime, this is just a beautiful record. It's on 180 gram vinyl, and like I said, it's that Vertigo swirl. It does sound really good, and I was hoping to find some more information about it, but I just really haven't found anything. But this first Black Sabbath record, it's really cool. It's a little different than the others. It's more bluesy, but I really do like it. It's very cool. So I'm very happy to now have that one in my collection. And here is a 45 that I found at the little antique store that I was talking about just a little bit earlier. I found this when I found those plates. This is a 45 for the band The Killers, my daughter's favorite band. And this is a promotional copy of the song Human. I'm assuming they came out with pictures of all 4 band members for this, but I only found this one. It was just $1, so I picked it up because I know if my daughter wants it, I'll give it to her. But I just thought it was really cool. It's on a white vinyl. So for $1, it sells for a lot more than $1 on Discogs. So I thought it was a really cool find. And this one particular one is a promotional copy. So I'm happy to have that. If my daughter wants it, it's hers. This is a record that I found. I spent the day, my birthday, with my sister. We had a really great time, and we did go to an antique store, and I found this particular copy of Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. And this one is a UK press, but what's really cool about it is it must be, from everything I can tell, it is a first press of it. One of the producers' name is John Landau, and his name is spelled J-O-N, but they had misspelled it on the very first pressing of it. It's spelled J-O-H-N. And even a little bit later on those first pressings, when they found the mistake, they took a piece of tape and pasted over with the correct spelling. But this one is the incorrect spelling, so this must be a very early press of this album. And I know when I was with Billy Hurst back in March, a long time ago, before this whole crazy year just took a turn for the worst, we were out record shopping and he found one that had the corrected paste over on it, that had the correct spelling. So I just thought that was very cool to pick up, and it's on that CBS label. So I thought that was very nice to have the one that has the incorrect spelling. And now I'm going to show a record that isn't extremely hard to find, but for some reason, up until now, I've had a hard time finding one in good condition. But this is a beauty. It's still in shrink wrap, and it still has the beautiful hype sticker. It is Kansas album Point of No Return. And I've always wanted to have this one. I love the song Point of No Return, but the song Dust in the Wind, even though it was a song that came out back in the 1970s, it holds a very special memory for me back in 1986. So back in January of 1986, I was walking into my French class expecting to do a French dialogue that day. But instead, our French teacher walked in with a TV, and she had a very sad look on her face. So I remember watching the TV, and we were watching the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. It exploded in the air, and we were just devastated to watch it. If you are my age or older, you will never forget where you were when you heard the news that our Space Shuttle Challenger had exploded. There was a school teacher on board who was making huge news and breaking history for being the first teacher to go up in space. And instead of watching her being able to make history in that way, we watched a close-up of her parents watching the space shuttle explode in front of their very eyes. It left a huge mark on our hearts. It was absolutely so hard to watch. But later on that evening, I was with my friend Mary. She was my best friend from high school. And we were listening to a DJ talking about the horrific events of the day. And I'll never forget, he asked the listeners to call in and to dedicate a song in memory to the astronauts who lost their lives. And the song Dust in the Wind was the #1 requested song to be played in honor of the astronauts. And I remember at the time thinking it was a horrific choice for that Space Challenger. But anyway, the connection to that beautiful song and that horrific event that happened, I'll never forget it. And I do love having this album. Kansas was an absolutely wonderful band, so I do love having that in my collection now. And you all know I love American Top 40 box sets. I don't have a ton of them. I absolutely love them though. And I recently picked up the October 31st, the Halloween version from 1981. And I do have strong memories of listening to this very particular week. I knew every song on here, and it's just really incredible. There's also a couple of Beatles connections on this particular box set, so I will explain that here in a minute. This is what the DJ would get and he would play. You can see a DJ wrote special notes on here. Let me just kind of go over this with you. Number 39 was Our Lips Are Sealed by the Go-Go's. Number 38 was Promises in the Dark by the amazing Pat Benatar. We can go on to number 35, In the Dark by Billy Squier, another underestimated performer in my opinion. Number 33 was Hold On Tight by ELO. And we move on to song number 31, and it's one of those songs that was just a minor hit that I really loved, but because it didn't become a classic, I kind of forgot about. So it's called Sausalito Summer Night by Diesel. And I remember reading, I always read y'all's comments, every single one of them, and someone brought that song on up to my attention not that long ago. It's an incredible song. I'm thrilled to have it on this box set. I absolutely love it. And then we can move on to another song on here that was not a huge hit, but I loved at the time. It was called Atlanta Lady by Marty Balin. And Marty Balin had this really incredible voice that was kind of off kilter. There was something a little off key about it, but it was absolutely amazing. He had a great singing voice. I think he was also a member of Jefferson Starship. I love his voice, and Atlanta Lady was something I had forgotten about, but was really incredible. And then we can go on to some classics like Who's Crying Now by Journey. Number 24 was Stop Dragging My Heart Around by Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty on here. Number 8 was The Night Owls by the Little River Band. That's a band I love that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about in the vinyl community. I thought they were really amazing. And then we can just go on to the top 3. Private Eyes by Hall & Oates. Hall & Oates ruled the 80s, so it's only fitting that they would be in here. Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones, from the album Tattoo You. That's a cool song. I absolutely loved it. And number 1 was Arthur's Theme by Christopher Cross. So this was a very cool American Top 40, but there's a couple Beatles connections on here. If I can play little needle drops, I will. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not, but there's some really cool things on here. There is what was called a long distance dedication that Casey Kasem, he would read letters from people and they would dedicate a song.
Kasem on American Top 40 in Hollywood. You know, some of our long distance dedications tell about important changes taking place in the writer's life. Could you dedicate Getting Better to Mary Flynn? It's what I always wanted to tell her. Signed, Carrie. Okay, Carrie, here's your long distance dedication.
And the song Getting Better by the Beatles was on there. And also there was a song, Casey Kasem was paying tribute to the 60s. He was playing songs from the 60s that were number 1. So one of the number 1 songs from the 60s was a song called Get Back by the Beatles. So that's also on this box set. So I really love it, and I'm so glad it's on here. Here is a copy. This is just so you can see what the record labels look like of the American Top 40s. And now I'm going to show you some amazing records that I was able to get as gifts. This is from Brian from Tennessee. Let me show you this one. This is a Beatles Ballads album. I love the cover of this. This is a Netherlands pressing, and from what he shared with me, this was potentially going to be the cover art for the White Album. And even though I absolutely love this artwork, I cannot imagine the White Album being anything than what it is. Just a beautiful record. It wouldn't be called the White Album if it didn't look like it did. I love the classic white with the 4 pictures in the poster. But this is a very cool ballads record to own. Has amazing hits on here. It's on the Parlophone label. And it has great stuff on here like Yesterday, Norwegian Wood, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, Across the Universe, All My Loving. This is a really killer record to own. It's really beautiful to play, just the Beatles ballads, so I was really happy that he gave that one to me. Here's another one. This is something that was a huge grail of mine. If you all watched a couple weeks ago, I went to Nashville and bought some records for my birthday. There was a record that was on the wall at Spinner's Records, and I really wanted it, but I didn't buy it because of the price. And I'm glad I didn't, because he sent it to me. This is the original master recording of the Beatles' White Album. And it is a beautiful press, absolutely in pristine condition, just beautiful. Here are the lyric sheets that came with it. And here is the vinyl. It's a 2 LP set. They all look the same. I will show you one copy of it though. And I did play this, and I haven't done any comparison playings, but I can already tell you this particular copy sounds amazing. He gave this to me because he recently picked up the Mobile Fidelity box set of all of the Beatles records on the original master recordings. That is something that would be amazing to own, and he does own that one. So thankfully he passed the White Album on to me, and I'm so thrilled. Here's another record. Before I show this one, I just want to show you this music machine in the background, the K-Tel record. My mom didn't have a lot of money growing up, but she did buy K-Tel records for us and a lot of singles. And I love this particular music machine album because it introduced me to so many wonderful artists like Kiss, Alice Cooper, Manfred Mann and the Earth Band. There's just a lot, ABBA. There's some incredible music on that. And one of the artists that that album introduced me to was Elton John. And this is an album that Brian from Tennessee sent my way. It is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. This is a UK version, and it was come out in 1978, and just absolutely amazing. I love all the artwork on here. It's such an incredible record, and it sounds really good. But what was really great about it, it is a 1978 pressing. It's UK pressing on yellow vinyl, and even with this early colored vinyl, it sounds better than my MCA rainbow label copy of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road that I own. And I'm not putting that pressing down if you have that. It does sound good, but I really love this, and it's just a beautiful copy. I couldn't believe he gave that to me. That was just a tremendous gift. And then finally, this is the grand finale. This is a record I never thought I would own, and I about fell over when I saw that he had sent it my way. We're hearing a lot about it right now, and I never thought I would own an original of Flaming Pie by Paul McCartney. I love this album. This is something I've always wanted, and they are getting ready to do a reissue of it. I'm thrilled that they're going to do that. I never thought I would own an original from 1997. This is a UK press. I just saw Paul from Fit to Be Tie-Dye show a sealed copy of this as well. And, you know, and like he said, there is nothing like owning an original. That is something so special to me. I never thought I would own. Brian, thank you so much. This has been just a tremendous gift. I have been wearing this album out, and you know, it came out in 1997. It's a beautiful press, 180 gram. It feels like to me it might be a little less than that, but I really love it. And like I said, it's on the Parlophone label, so it's a UK press of it. Never thought I would own an original of Flaming Pie by Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney is my favorite artist, my solo artist of all time. I absolutely adore him. And this is one of his best albums he ever did. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And please leave your comments below. I will see you next time. And thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.